want to get to a lot of bills introduced by our guests, from serious to a little more fun. Joining us is Democratic Representative Tangie Herring of Macon. Her committees include Code Revision and Urban Affairs. Also here is Democratic Representative Eric Bell of Jonesboro. His committees include Defense and Veterans Affairs and Small Business Development. Welcome to Lawmakers, to both of you.
Thanks for having us.
So I'm going to start with you with something really serious. You have the Let's Start with your You Are Not Alone Awareness Act.
Yes.
Talk about it, but first tell us what led to you even having this bill.
So back in 2020, my daughter, she came home from school and she was just talking to me about how some of her friends after the COVID epidemic were having problems with anxiety, with depression, and sometimes substance abuse. And so we were having those conversations, and she was saying that there weren't any resources that her friends could go to when they were having an episode or having a difficult time. And so after that conversation, I was like, you know, it's something so simple to just have the 988 You Are Not Alone Act on the back of a student's ID. So whenever a student is in a crisis, that information is right there for them to call, to get the help that they need. We don't need to lose another student to suicide or from drug overdoses when we have something right there that they have every day. They carry it in their pockets, it's on their backpack. And not only for the student, it's a great resource for the families, because a lot of times parents don't even know what resources are available. So just having that 988 hotline on the back of a student ID, it's not a mandate, it's something that's going to give students hope for another day and give parents the support that they need to make sure that their children get the resources that are available.
And I think you said earlier, people know 911, they don't know 988.
That's right.
At a hearing today for your bill, people became emotional, and I want to play a clip from the House Education Committee meeting, and this is Representative Will Wade of Dawson County.
I happen to be a representative that represents the district that has the highest percentage of teenage suicides in the last 7 years. Thank you for doing this for the families in my community that are suffering.
He wasn't the only one to get emotional. This really means a lot to people, and I didn't know about Dawson County. So your reaction to that and what happened today in that hearing? You
know, it's heartbreaking when you hear parents talk about how they can't find resources for their children or how they've lost a child. I just recognized in the House a fight against suicide, Sam Ashbury, who lost his life to suicide. His father was telling us that he was a great kid, you know, nothing seemed to be wrong, but we never know what's going on with an individual. And sometimes just having someone there that can say, you know what, you're not alone, or a resource that's right there in front of them can give them that hope to say, hey, you know what? Tomorrow can be a better day. And so today, listening to my colleagues support my bill, I thought about all those kids that we're going to be able to save. I mean, we put a lot of money into our budget to make sure that kids are safe and having those resources in our school. And I really thank Commissioner Tanner for putting the spotlight in the state of Georgia on mental health and in our schools, making sure we have those resources for our kids. So this is just another way to make sure that our kids know that they matter. We want them to have long, healthy lives and that they're not alone.
Yeah, and it passed out of committee, so
yes.
We'll see it move on. So Representative Bell, tell us about your education bill. It's HB 550, and it would require private schools to come up with a safety plan. What brought that about?
Well, on the impetus of the voucher bill, I noticed that we were sending students to private schools. And unlike our public schools, where we have a rigorous course standards and benchmarks to meet, not only in curriculum, but also in safety programs. Every single public school has a safety plan, whether it's a tornado drills, your active shooter trainings. You remember being in school and you had to do the fire drills, or I always remember the tornado drills where we would go out in the hallway and put our book bags over our heads.
They did it in my era too.
But and private schools aren't required to do that. And if we're going to send public students, our babies, our students to these institutions, we need to make sure that they're protected. And that's simply by making sure that each school that we send our students to, they accept our voucher program. There may be some schools that don't want voucher students. There may be some schools that feel like the vouchers program doesn't work for them. But if you do accept it, that you need to make sure that you're providing a safe environment with our students. When there's an emergency that happens, there's a clear plan to make sure that everyone in the institution is safe.
Okay, good safety bills. I appreciate that. I want to get you another bill that deals with education. It deals with teachers and the salary schedule for teachers. So explain briefly what that is for people who don't understand it.
I had a House bill last year, House Bill 333, talking about inflation pay for teachers. I did make some amendments to it for it to be the cost of living increase for teachers, which is 3%. We get that already as retired teachers. And so having that conversation about teacher pay is very important. The average teacher right now is making $45,000 to $48,000 a year. And a lot of teachers, once they get to that max scale, I believe it's like 21 years, they really don't get a raise. And so, you know, the Senate resolution, I think it's 237. Thank you to Senator Hickman for the work he's doing on that. We're now having that conversation about teacher pay and workforce because we want our young people to go into the profession. We have a lot of talent here in Georgia. We want to keep those young people here and have them teaching in our schools, but we need to make sure that we're having a real conversation about teacher pay. Yes, we're thankful for all that the governor has done to make sure that we get that extra $2,000, which a lot of teachers saying they wish it wasn't taxed. But, you know, we need to continue to have that conversation about how we're going to compensate teachers, what other incentives that we can give young people to go into the profession.
Okay. Well, and I should mention, you're a former teacher.
Yes, I am.
And years ago, I did a story on you. You were one of my class act teachers.
Yes.
So I'm so glad about that. All right, Representative Bell, we don't have a lot of time, but I want to get into, you have two bills that deal with the formerly incarcerated individuals, and you want Hope Scholarships for people who had drug convictions, and another one you call the Presidential Felon Freedom Act.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, quickly tell us about those.
So the first one is House Bill 206, would allow drug offenders, specifically felon drug offenders, to get the Hope Scholarship. It repeals the Post-Secondary Drug Act of 1990, which during that time period in America, there was a war on drugs, propaganda put on by the government to do nefarious things, wherever you may believe. But now that we've moved on to a better place in time where we understand addiction isn't the reason why someone should be incarcerated, or addiction isn't the reason why someone should be left behind, whether that's addicted to a substance or a lifestyle, that people deserve second chances, and often people need first chances. So this would just give clearly individuals in our communities suffering from addiction or poverty chances to reach higher incomes by having access to the Hope Scholarship, by attending our state schools and our state technical schools, whether they want to be a mathematician or a beautician, giving them not only a first chance, but a second chance at life as well.
Okay, I want you to get the Presidential Felon Freedom Act in there.
So that was born out of, if the president could be a felon, so could my barber, so could my real estate agent, so could my next elected official. In the state of Georgia, if you have a felony, you can't hold a professional license, you can't vote, you can't run for office unless you're running for president or a federal state. You can't serve in jury duty. There's so many things that are holding our individuals who serve their time behind. And if the president can do it, why can't someone that simply had a bad day and couldn't afford to get their child's food, so they held up a local convenience store just to make ends meet, or whether they're, again, suffering from addiction, this is their third DUI, and now they're held back for reasons that we see released on the Epstein files that aren't stopping anybody. So individuals need chances. Individuals deserve that. And in America, the land of the free, someone should be let free once they're out, once they're no longer incarcerated.
All right, how do you feel about these bills making it?
Well, having trouble with the Presidential Felon Freedom Act, honestly, I think it's some of the name. Our president doesn't like to be associated with being called a felon, but some people don't like being associated with a lot of things.
Okay. Before we leave, I don't want to cut you off, but I haven't talked about these lemon pepper wings.
Yes, shout out to Highland and Riverdale.
So, really quickly, I know Tuesdays you're going to have
Lemon Pepper Day at the Capitol in partnership with American Deli. It's a day about heritage, culture, and advocacy, not only about lemon pepper wings, but whatever may be important in your life, whether it's the Safe Homes Act, what was the act again, Representative Herring?
For tiny homes.
The For Tiny Homes Act, or whether it's about individuals who've been held back from drug convictions getting the Hope Scholarship, or whether you care about housing and whether senior citizens have judicial reform, or the HOAs are taking people's property, or real estate investment companies have way too many homes. It's a day about Georgians advocating for themselves and sharing their shared heritage of lemon pepper wings.
And you feel it's uniquely Georgian?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
All right. All righty. Well, thank you so much. Thank you both for coming on the show.